Good afternoon, Miami sports fans. Welcome to the Miami Sports Break. We are live on a crazy Tuesday afternoon, trying to recover from the weather and everything else. But what was even more wild was the weekend action on the field starting Friday night with the Miami Hurricanes taking care of North Carolina State in a huge come from behind 44-41 victory. And then to cap it off on Sunday, we had Tua making his second start for the Miami Dolphins and leading them to another big victory over the NFC West against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm joined by Jaccare Givens. We are live here, just trying to get everything set up and bringing you the Miami Sports Break. I know we've been gone for a little bit. What's going on, Jock?
Not much, man. Just enjoying this Tuesday, a wild, crazy weekend in Miami. I actually tweeted right before Derek King came back from the 10-point lead. I tweeted, if you go check, this is his Heisman moment to come back from down 10, and he actually did it.
Yeah, he really stepped up huge. It was a monster performance for De'Aaron King and the Hurricanes offense, but the defense really struggled. So NC State was able to kind of get what they wanted for a good part of that game, despite having some issues at the quarterback the week before against North Carolina. But I really want to get started and talk about De'Aaron King because his line from the game was just ridiculous. You can see it up there. 31 for 41, 431 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he added another 15 carries for 105 yards rushing. What do you think the running game brought to him in terms of opening up the offense and helping him really open things up through the air? How do you think him getting outside the pocket a little bit more helped the offense start to click?
Well, he did what we said to do the whole time. He finally pulled the ball on that third. I think it was either third and one or fourth and one, where he pulled the ball and he went for about 30 or 40 yard gain. I think they got a little bit more QB design runs, got him going a little bit. I just think he took over the game just mentally, just by some of the decisions he was making. And Mike Harley still played excellent. The receivers, all three receivers actually played very well. So you have to give him credit as well. But King just took over. When is the last time Miami ever had a guy that just takes over a game at the quarterback position that you can trust? And he actually did that, and he made all the right decisions down the stretch. And you also got to give Manny Diaz credit as well, because he made a hard decision. He kicked that field goal there, trusted the defense, came right back and scored a touchdown for them to win the game.
Yeah, your guy DJ Ivy made a big play at the end of the game to seal that one. But we'll come back to the defense. But I know you touched on a little bit of the performance by the wide receiver group, who, as a whole collective over the last couple of weeks, has really taken a big step in the right direction. Harley went for 8 catches, 153 yards, 2 big touchdowns. D. Wiggins, 7 for 77 yards with the score. Mark Pope, 6 catches, 97 yards and a touchdown. And Will Mallory, another solid game, 6 catches, 78 yards with the score. King was able to spread the ball around to a lot of different guys and finally hit on some of those big plays we've been missing on the outside. Without Brevin Jordan again, Will Mallory seems to. I think is he the tight end one now on the Hurricanes, given
I think
Brevin's
he's the
issues right
better
now?
fit. He's the better fit tight end for the NFL. Mallory just a lot bigger. He's healthy. Number one, the best ability is availability. So you have to, give him credit. He's always there, and when Miami features him in the game plan, he always makes plays. Every game this season, he's made a big play, and when you look at it, even in the Virginia game, he got hot early. They started going away from him. But you get them credit this time. They stuck with the passing game, and they just stuck it. And I want to give Pope and Wiggins and Harley credit, um, just for stepping up. They were facing a lot of criticism, but they stepped up big the last two games. And Pope and his presser today said that he had made a decision, that those three guys made a decision when they seen that or on the depth chart to be great and just to carry the team on their back. So I'm proud of those guys to continue improving. They have a big game this week with Virginia Tech, where they started off 2.5 point underdogs. I don't know why,
That's
but they
crazy.
start. I don't understand how that happened, but they're 2.5 point underdogs against Virginia Tech. I think Miami wins that game. I think Khalil Herbert's uh, is in question. They don't know if he's going to play right now, so I don't understand that line.
Yeah, shout out to Liberty, huh? What a upset for them. Just second year in the FCS. It's crazy, or FBS, excuse me, and that big 38-35 win over Vatek. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
really sure
they
why
botched
the
that.
Hokies.
Yeah, they botched that game a lot. So
It was a hot mess in that game. But yeah, Virginia Tech doesn't really scare me. We're going to get into them a little bit more on Thursday. But I'm excited about what I'm seeing from the offense. We had 189 yards on the ground, but as you see there, 105 of that was from Derek King. What's going on with the running back group? Cam Harris did have 15 carries, but just 62 yards. And we didn't see much of Knight and Cheney in this one. What do you
um,
see out of the running group after this week?
I just feel like those guys not have hit their ceiling. I just think teams are kind of keying on them. If you kind of notice when those guys touch the ball, they're not getting no push up front in the middle. Like I said, Miami has to attack the edges when they do run. That's the only time they're successful. So they have to go ahead and start doing those things right away. I'm not worried about the running back group. I feel like with King's big game this past week, I think the running backs will have a big game this week against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Miami's going to continue to build off this performance, and they've got a lot of guys now that are gaining confidence, especially in the wide receiver room. So I think the running game is going to become more complementary. I think King in the passing game is what's going to carry this team to their potential because we're going to flip to the other side of the football on the defense. As you can see, Miami gave up 41 points to NC State, and a lot of yards, a lot of points, and didn't really create much in terms of pass rush, and only had the one late interception by Ivy in terms of turnovers. So, what's going on with the defense, especially in the back half, Jock? I think you can definitely give us a good insight onto what's going on in the secondary.
Well, it's just a lot of bad eyes. If you can tell when Al Blaze got beat for that long pass, he was looking back at the quarterback, then tried to go catch up with the man. Uh, it's a lot of things, but I just think those guys are playing terrible with their eyes. They're looking at the quarterback, and all the old cliche in football is see ball thrown, see ball caught, and that's what's happening to those guys. Not like they're in bad position, but the moment you hesitate and look back at the quarterback, you're already at a disadvantage. So those guys have to just do a better job with their eyes, being more disciplined in coverage. Um, am I concerned? No. But do I see this as a problem going forward? Yes. Obviously, those guys are going to be heavily dependent on. I put out a question out there the other day. Miami's ACC championship game hopes are very slim right now. Obviously, we didn't expect Clemson to lose to Notre Dame, but it's very slim. So the secondary has to be better to beat those teams that we're going to play if we sneak into the ACC championship game and also against North Carolina on December. Those guys have two good receivers. So for Miami to finish strong, they have to play better in the secondary. But like I just said, I just think it's bad eyes.
Yeah, and they're not getting much help from the pass rush either. It seems like the last couple games we haven't seen those impact plays from the pass rush. Do we have any sacks in this game? One sack?
I mean, I
It
don't know
it
what's
wasn't
going
good.
on. Those guys were very disruptive early in the season. I thought that with the addition of the Hunt kid, I think that's who I want to say in the middle when he took over, who was leading the former basketball kid.
Yeah,
Think of his name off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought with him adding him to that pass rush, I thought Miami's pass rush was gonna pick it up. But it seems like since they inserted him, it has not been good at all. Like the team has been lackadaisical. The last two games we haven't had anything.
yeah, it's going to be tough when we start facing those Hurricanes. Harrison Hunt, as we were referring to, Jared Harrison Hunt in the front. But it's going to be tough facing, especially as we wear on the ACC schedule. That North Carolina game is going to loom large, and they're able to carve up teams in both phases, running and passing the ball. So Miami better get right quick, especially on defense, because the
Yeah,
offense can score with anybody.
yeah. Bluestein made a bold prediction that Boston College would lose to uh, Boston College, who I think is going to play them tough this week. And he also predicted they would lose to North Carolina. Now, if that happens, then Miami and North Carolina will probably be for the second runner-up position in the game on December 5th. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. The defense, I'm not, like I said, secondary, I'm concerned. The pass rush will come there. I think teams are doing a better job too of getting the ball out of their hands. One, but two, they're running the football. If you don't see that, like with the Night Kid from NC State, he's a great back. I think he's gonna play in the NFL. But he was carving Miami up, man. He was getting big gainers and stuff like that. So I think teams'
In
ability to run
person
the
too.
huh?
In person too, 12
Yeah.
for 79. He broke off a 40-yarder. And Knight 13 carries,
And if you
45 yards with the score.
look at the last two teams we played, they ran the football effectively. If you think about it.
Yeah, and that doesn't take much pressure off the secondary when they're in second and short, third and short, and have the whole offensive playbook at their disposal, not just obvious passing situations where the secondary can kind of key up and the pass rush can pin their ears back. So they're going to need to put themselves in better positions on early downs, I think, as well to help the defense. And one more quick recruiting note before we switch gears to the Dolphins. We're probably going to talk about this a lot more tonight on
Tonight,
the
yeah.
Six Ring Show. But three-star cornerback from Miami Northwestern, Tim Burns Jr., decommitted from the Hurricanes, and they're now left with 0 cornerback commits in the upcoming 21 class. What do you think of that move and how it looks for Miami?
That was very concerning because reports are coming out that Miami dropped him. So if you dropped him with no backup plan, like we need to see like what's going on. I do think it's a bad look on the school. Uh, you know, it's not a like this kid's a legacy. His brother played at UM, and Artie Burns. I want to say
Yeah.
he's a legacy kid. So he was the first kid to commit. He was all about Miami, and then you just drop him. So I want to know what happened there. Obviously, we'll get more into that tonight. But I'm very disappointed if it was that situation where they dropped the kid, and then we have 0 commits right now. So something's very alarming there. Obviously, big schools do this all the time, but when you're a legacy kid, why would you drop him? You could have offered him some walk on or offered him another option.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear what comes out down the road in terms of what exactly happened with that situation.
Yeah,
But
because FAU re-offered him probably like 10 minutes after that too.
yeah, yeah, something sneaky there. The lane train, even though it left the station, they still got some recruiting chops over there in Boca. So, Miami hasn't set themselves apart in terms of capturing the South Florida talent there. Those guys are still looking at all their options just because Miami's coming back a little bit. They still got a long ways to go in terms of building that steady recruiting base back in South Florida, I think, to really dominate and keep those other big programs like the Bamas and Clemsons. It even looked like a team like Indiana has a lot of South Florida kids. You're watching the Big Ten, there's Florida guys all over that conference. So, Miami's got a lot of work to do in terms of keeping those relationships strong with the local high schools that are.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I said, we had a little chat in the group amongst our reporters on Five Reasons Sports, and like I said, when you haven't produced a first round corner in how long, why? Like obviously, kids are gonna be like, you know what, I can go to LSU, Alabama, or one of these other schools that have good, safety language or corner language, longevity, and you can just say, hey, I can go here and play and get drafted in the first round versus Miami. Miami doesn't have a first round corner on that roster now, and they haven't had one in the last 3 to 4 years. So it's just alarming, and Miami has to do a better job of getting their kids ready to play in the NFL because we haven't really. I think Brevin Jordan's probably the first guy, along with Phillips and Russo.
Quincy,
Yeah,
we got Greg Russo, yeah.
yeah, probably the first guys we done have probably about to go first round. Like, that's for sure guaranteed first round. The rest of those guys kind of snuck in there.
Yeah, so I think we got a definitely interesting finish to the season, and hopefully that has a positive impact. But want to switch it up here and talk about the other huge game on Sunday. Tua and the Dolphins, another memorable performance against the NFC West, and they took care of Kyler Murray future MVP candidate in my book. The Dolphins took the victory in Arizona 34-31, and Tua definitely put his stamp on the game from the beginning and made his mark. What did you think of the performance from Tua and the offense? First of all,
Well, I mean, on the yard prep games, pregame show, I had predicted Tua would play better just because it was going against a lesser defense. You're not going to play, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and that defense every week. And I just thought Tua, like in his spurts that he had against the Rams, you can see the talent. But like I said, I've been harping on this for 3 years, Dave. The kid has it. I have been a proponent of Tua Tagovailoa. If you go check my tweets, conversations, I've been talking about Tua for 3 years now. The guy has something you can't teach at quarterback: accuracy and anticipation. So you look at a guy like Josh Allen in Buffalo, who has struggled for the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, well, the last 2 years with his accuracy, and then you go ahead and find out you find this guy who has accuracy. Like when you watch his game tape from Alabama, what's the first thing jump out to you? The guy has accuracy, and it's evident. Look at that throw to Mac Hollins. He put that
yeah.
ball where I. That was a perfect place for the ball. The only thing Mac Hollins could have did was drop the football because that was a perfect placement of the football.
What I noticed from the beginning, I mean, obviously with the Tua hype in Alabama, we've been watching him very closely down here for a couple of years. I always liked his feet and his mechanic. He always gets to his drop point exactly at the right time. His body mechanics are so fluid, and you could just see the reps that he's put in over and over and over in terms of just getting into that drop and putting his foot down, and the ball is out decisively. And the way he manipulates the field with his eyes and just runs through the progressions is very advanced. And he's got a poise about him. He's already been in the big moments. They flash back to the 18 Orange Bowl with him versus Kyler Murray.
I
He's not
mean,
a
even before that, they brought him off the bench as a
national
freshman
championship.
in the national championship
Yeah.
game, down 14 points against one of the better defenses in the country. He comes in, leads them to victory. And his legend was wrote right then and there. Because what does he do after that? Those are a 40 to 50 yard bomb that went in overtime to Devontae Smith. So
Yeah.
boy, like, and you heard Tad, the center Tad Carcass,
Ted Karras. Yeah.
Tad Karras. I'm sorry. He talked about it. He said, "I don't think a moment is too big for the kid."
Yeah. He just has such a good command of everything. You see his poise in the pocket. You see how he gets the team set. He's identifying the mic. He's just really cerebral and very calm and confident. And I like the fact that now he's pulling the ball down and getting outside the pocket a little bit more and kind
But
of
they,
shutting
but
people up
they,
about his hip.
a lot of people don't understand that before Tua got to Alabama, he was ranked as a dual threat quarterback coming from Hawaii. He just got to Alabama and got comfortable that he didn't really need. He put on a lot of weight, but if you go look at his high school highlight tape, he looks just like how his brother looks now at Maryland, and he's skinny and he can run, like he can move. Now he's not, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he has good enough speed to pick up 30 yards a game, maybe 20, 25. He can get you a couple of rushes a game when the pocket breaks down.
Yeah, definitely. And it was nice to see him make that move on Buda Baker and pick up that one first down against one
That
of the
was
best
big.
safeties in the league. And in
It's
space, he
not the
just
best.
yeah, he put him down right there. But let's go a little bit dig deep a little bit into the offensive line and the running game. We know Tua was dynamic from the pocket as far as throwing the football, but what's going on with the ground game? I know we had a lot of guys out. I know Gaskin's on IR. Breda was out. This was kind of the game where Jordan Howard could sort of take control of the backfield, at least for the time being, and he did nothing. Is it just a poor game plan? Is he doesn't have the breakaway speed to kind of be the
Well,
alpha back, or what's the problem there?
with Jordan Howard, he's a carries guy. So he gets stronger as the game goes on. So for him to average 100 yards, you have to get him 25 to 30 carries just to, say, hey, we're going to have a decent ground game. But with Tua, I think with him as quarterback, it's not the ground game is not as important as it is with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think what needs to happen is the Dolphins need to run for 100 yards collectively as a group. Just enough running game to keep the team honest, the other team honest, so you can keep your play action game, keep your RPOs in there, so you can understand everything that's going on. I don't like right now. I don't know the answer at running back. We're gonna get DeAndre Washington here this upcoming week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Miami ran the ball 25 times for just 90 yards. So if you take out those two carries by Tua for 35, you only have 65 yards running the football. So that's just not going to cut it on a week to week basis. You got to have at least a threat of the running game, like you said, to open up that RPO, some of those zone reads, because you can't win if you don't at least have some semblance. I know it's a passing league, but I think Miami's got to find some answers there. And I was a little bit surprised that Patrick Laird didn't get a few more opportunities. He's got some wiggle in space. He's a good receiver, and he wasn't a factor in this game at all.
I don't know if the Dolphins really believe in him as that. I think he's a good special teams guy. Maybe
Right.
can turn into like a Rex Burkhead later on into his career. But it's just too many guys in front of him. I'm not gonna say they're better, but that's who the Dolphins see fit. Obviously in the offseason, we know the Dolphins are gonna address two positions right off the bat. Receiver and running back. Whether it's
Mhm.
via free agency or the draft, those positions are gonna get addressed. So we just, have to hold the waters a little bit. But I don't, I really don't know. Are you worried about Tua Tagovailoa's arms? No, Tua,
Not never.
yeah. You
Go
know
ahead,
that
Jock.
you can't be worried about arm strength. Arm strength is not as big of a deal as people think it is. You're looking at Drew Brees, who can't throw the ball down the field at all now, and he's still completing 65 to 70% of his passes. So I think Tom Brady hasn't had the best arm either. Um, so it's just a matter of anticipation, knowing when to take your shots. Because when you look at the quarterback position, there's only a few guys who have rocket arms. You know what I mean? But Tua, if you look, he can make every throw in the book.
And he throws guys open too. And you look at somebody like Jakeem Grant, with Preston Williams possibly being out. I don't know the extent of that injury, if we've heard anything today about that.
I know he had a
But
sprained foot. A sprained foot. I think Flores said he's day to day. I do want to ask you a question though, Dave. Will Williams potentially being out, what other guy would you like to see get more touches? Remember, they still have Antonio Callaway, Lamb Bolton, and Malcolm Perry. So, what guy would you like to see, get more touches in that case if Preston Williams is out for an extended period of time?
well, first I said Grant, and I think his skill set in that slot type of role, you can just
But
throw
he's
a lot
better.
of.
He's better on the outside though.
I think he's okay on the outside. He has trouble if he gets locked up early, but he's good on the quick passing game, the quick screens. But even get him out there in some jet sweeps and stuff like that. Get the ball in his hands with a little bit of momentum going. And I would like to see Malcolm Perry. I think they can throw in a few specialty type plays with him and see what he can bring to the
They
offense.
ran one. They ran one on Sunday. They ran the one where I think he pitched it to the
He
back.
pitched it back, yeah.
Yeah,
But I think that, you've got a few kind of I want to say gimmicky guys, but very specialized guys in those sort of athlete type roles, and it's going to be interesting to see what Gailey can do with him. But I'm looking for Parker to kind of steady the ship a little bit. He had a pretty solid game after Preston went down. He wasn't much of a factor before that. I think Parker finished with 6 catches for 64 yards, but
yeah.
he's
Gasecki,
not going to take. Go ahead.
Gasecki probably will get more touches now. But like I said, I've been saying this for the longest. I think Antonio Callaway has the potential to be a number one receiver. I know he had his off the field problems, but I don't blame kids in college for their off the field problems as much as other people may, because they're still children. Long as it's not no domestic violence or sexual assault. Obviously, I'm not saying that, guys. Everybody know those are serious things, but when the guys have small nuances like that, like credit cards and stuff, they just made bad decisions. We got a guy on TV, Doug Gottlieb, who's on TV, a national media figure who stole credit cards at Notre Dame. So let's not make this guy Antonio Callaway into such a bad guy. or whatever it may be. He just had a few off the field problems, and I think he can be the guy.
Shout out to Anthony. Another good question for Jaccare. We have any wide receivers that combine possession receiver skills with speed?
Yeah, Antonio Callaway
There you
is the
go.
guy. He's the guy, and I want him to get his shot just because he's a kid from South Florida, homegrown. He has talent, receiver one, and before his pre-giraffe grade, before the season had started his junior year, he was rated as the number one wide receiver. They had him going in the first round. He fell a little bit because of his off the field issues, but the kid can play, and to produce at Florida at the receiver position with the quarterbacks they've had, the lack of quarterbacks they've had, is very, very, very good. So I just want to see him get his chance. He's off his suspension now, so let's see what we can do with him.
Definitely. Yeah, we got a few more minutes here, so I want to talk about the defense. I know Kyler Murray is possibly a future MVP candidate, and he was just incredible, not only with his arm, but with his legs, and really gave the Dolphins defense a lot of problems. And I know people will talk about the Xavier Howard versus DeAndre Hopkins matchup, and that Howard was flagged for three, I'd say, questionable PI calls. I mean, maybe you could give him at least maybe one of those calls, but I think two of them were a little bit ticky tack. But overall, he held Hopkins in check, and I think that was a little bit misleading. But Kyler Murray and Christian Kirk were really the straw that stirred that drink on offense, and particularly you saw the speed from Kirk matched up with Byron
Yeah, when
Jones,
he
who's
hit
a
him with that
burner
post
himself.
move, when he hit
Yeah,
him with that post move, he
yeah,
killed him.
yeah, that was definitely a big play. And Kyler Murray's got that real deep pass accuracy, like a Russell Wilson, like a Mahomes, who he can
He
air down the field with a lot of accuracy.
he's the closest thing to Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. I'm just being honest. The stuff he can do, the rolling back in the pocket. You seen that play where he threw it up and they drew the pass interference. Obviously, it was a holding call on the offensive line, but what
Yeah.
other guy can do that? He's jittery in the pocket. He's very smooth. He's fast. He can rip it. He has the arm strength,
Mm-hmm.
but I just want to tell Dolphins fans this: when the Dolphins how they play defense, because we do lack the pass rushers. I know Ogba has the 7 sacks, but he's not winning cleanly on the outside one on one. All his sacks are coming from pressure looks. They're rushing more than five that more than can block. So when the Dolphins are in man coverage a lot, so sometimes they're gonna get smoked just because of the coverage. All the great defensive backs, you're gonna get beat sometimes. J.C. Jackson had
J.C. Jackson last night. Yep.
terrible game last night, but he's a great corner.
And
But
he
you're gonna
sealed it with
have
an
that.
interception.
Yeah, you're gonna have that moment just because you're playing so much man-to-man coverage. So those guys just have to hold tight and understand that hey, the Dolphin cornerbacks are gonna have some bad days, just like Edgar Benogany was getting killed early in the
Mm-hmm.
season. But people was like, "Oh, he's bad." No, it's hard to play man coverage on 90% of your snaps because you're chasing a guy around. They're doing things that's picking you off, crossing routes, go routes. It's hard. It's hard. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So you have to put that in your mind, Dolphin fans, to let them know
Was
that
that a
those
cover
guys.
zero on the
Yeah,
Kirk touchdown?
yes,
Was
they
there
had
no?
no
There was no
middle of the
deep
field
safety,
safety.
right?
Yep. He hit him with a
Yeah.
straight post route, and he got his leverage ed up. He stepped him outside, cut,
Yeah.
came back
He was.
inside.
Yeah. He
Yep,
got lost
and that,
inside. Yeah.
and that what it was. So that's gonna happen with Miami. I am intrigued to see if the Dolphins defense can keep up what they've been doing. I doubt it. We're not gonna get a touchdown from them every game,
Right.
but I do expect them to keep it up like that. But like I said, the pass rush is going to become an issue down the stretch because you have to have a guy who can win one on one.
Yeah. I mean, interceptions I think are a big part of it. Did you get it, Jock? The
Yeah,
question
but
there from
you're
Ant?
not. But when you're playing man, you're not going to catch many interceptions anyway. Just because you're in man coverage, your back is turned to the quarterback. You in
Yeah.
zone, you can catch more picks. Howard is a gambler. He's like Janoris Jenkins in his
Yep.
prime. That's exactly who he is. He gambles a lot, but he's also gonna give up a lot of big plays too now. But
Yeah, he's got good instincts, though. I mean,
yeah,
he'll jump a route because he studies and he knows tendencies, and he's already got an idea based on just formation what his guy might do. And I think Byron Jones, a big knock on him is he doesn't get the interceptions, and we saw that one
But
play where he lost the ball there.
But he's
So you
always
got to
in
pick
good
some
coverage
off.
though.
He's always in position, but you gotta come down with some of those plays eventually.
Yeah,
I mean, and he's a great corner. He really is.
I
He's
think
always in position.
Dallas is missing him right now.
Yeah,
Dallas
and
is missing him right now.
and he put the shoulder down on Murray too. I like to see your cornerbacks get physical, because you gotta show something a little bit in that department to just kind of get the respect. Like Murray got up and like, yeah, I got popped
Yeah, I
that
got
time.
it.
So
Hey, and he stopped him short. That was a third
yeah,
down play and stopped him short, 4th and 1.
yeah, and Murray's not a big guy, but still, you
He's
like to
hard
see
to tackle.
24.
He's hard to tackle.
Yeah, he's strong as shit, and you like to see 24. Stick his nose in there, which is a good sign. So, all in all, I'm encouraged by just the completeness of the team. I don't think this is Flores' best game in terms of coaching. They burned that one time out on the field goal, and there's just a few other situational things. But the team is playing lights out across the board when it counts. And
Yeah,
and Tua came in there.
all in general, Miami sports are we're hitting a different era.
Look out!
Yeah,
Look
we
out!
got the Dolphins are gonna be good. The Heat are good. The Marlins are good. The
And
Canes are good.
we're not
The
having any
Panthers.
watch parties too,
Yeah.
so that's gonna help.
So we'll see how it goes. But I'm just saying, this area in Miami is great. I think there's going to be a generation where Miami finally gets to have that Boston-like celebration where we're celebrating the NBA title, NFL, college title, something like that.
And if King comes back for another year at the Miami
We'll be a college
Hurricanes,
football player team.
the quarterback position is pretty good at Hard Rock Stadium, at least for this season. So it's exciting to see the upward trend in general in South Florida sports. Like you said, we're due. The time is now for this.
Yes.
Besides the Heat, I think it's time for the Dolphins, and the U isn't back, but they're on their way at least. So
yeah, they're in position to play in a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, which would be huge if they could get imagine the Orange Bowl with UF. That would really light up the network over here. So we got a lot of takes on both sides of that one. But we're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank Jaccare for taking the time to join us, and thank for everybody for watching. And don't forget to watch us tonight at 7:30 for the Six Rings Hurricane Show.
We're gonna have Andrew Ivins on tonight.
Yeah, we got a big show tonight. We're going to recap NC State more in depth. We're going to talk about the Tim Burns decommitment and see what's left for that class. I think, what do we have? 3 or 4 spots now open in 21?
I think it's 3.
So it's going to be a very interesting recruiting season. So definitely keep it tuned to 5 Reasons Sports, and we'll catch you guys then.
Yeah, thank you.